I talk a lot about travel on this channel. Thailand, the Philippines, trying to build a different life. But the truth is, none of this would exist without one person. On this Father's Day, I want to tell you the story of how my stepdad accidentally changed the direction of my entire life. When I was in my early 20s, I was that guy. The guy who talked about travelling Europe constantly and never actually went. I had the dream, I had the fantasy, I had the plans. What I didn't have was the courage. I spent hours talking about backpacking, hostels, beaches and adventure, but I never booked anything. I was all talk, zero action. And one day, my stepdad looked at me and said, "Stop talking about it and do it." And that was it. No dramatic speech, no life coaching seminar, just one simple sentence. But for whatever reason, it hit me harder than anything I'd heard before. So I did it. I booked a ticket to Spain. Now here's the thing about being young and having the wisdom of a potato. You don't always make great decisions. I wasted a chunk of my money on goodbye parties, which is quite funny considering I wasn't exactly emigrating to Mars. I was going to Spain. Then when I landed in Alicante, I decided I'd save money by walking from the airport into the city. 4 hours in the Spanish heat, dragging a backpack to save about €3. Looking back, I probably spent more on water than the bus would have cost. At the time, I genuinely thought I was making a smart financial decision. Shockingly, my flawless financial strategy didn't work. I ran out of money fairly quickly. So I phoned my stepdad. No, he wasn't rich. He couldn't magically solve the problem. But he gave me two choices, and I still remember them. I can send you a bit of money to last a few days, or I can buy you a ticket home. And he meant it. No rescue mission, no lecture, no guilt trip, just two options. I chose to stay, and that little bit of money, maybe about £100, didn't fix everything, but it kept me going long enough to find work. And looking back now, it wasn't really about the money. It was about somebody saying, "I think you'll figure this out." Sometimes that's all people need. The funny thing is, I never actually travelled around Europe like I planned. Instead, I stayed in Spain for 5 years. I worked, I lived, I grew up. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't Instagrammable. Instagram didn't even exist. But those 5 years changed me. Eventually, I came back to the UK and did what most people do. Got a job, built a career, paid the bills, tried to be sensible, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But every now and then I'd catch myself looking at flight prices when I should probably have been doing something more productive. Because once you've experienced that freedom, once you've lived abroad, once you've realised how big the world really is, part of you never quite comes back. So I started travelling again. Long holidays, solo trips, little escapes whenever I could manage them. And every time I left the UK, that spark came back. That version of me I'd almost forgotten about. And eventually I realised something. I don't just enjoy travelling. I need it. I need the adventure. I need the uncertainty. I need the feeling that life could be something different. And that's ultimately what led me here, walking around with cameras, filming trips, telling stories on the internet, trying to build a life that feels a little bit more like me. I'm not a full-time traveller, not yet. I still work a 9 to 5. I'm still figuring things out. I'm building this slowly, video by video, trip by trip, mistake by mistake. But the reason I ever believed a different life might be possible goes right back to that moment in my early 20s, where my stepdad told me to stop talking about it and do it. My stepdad didn't give me a roadmap. He didn't give me a business plan. He didn't give me a pile of money. He gave me belief. Just enough belief to get moving. And sometimes that's all it takes. So if you're watching this and you've been talking about doing something, traveling, moving abroad, starting a business, changing careers, Maybe this is your version of that conversation. If you don't have somebody in your corner encouraging you, or you just want to follow along while somebody else figures it out in real time, that's what I try to be here. I'm not at the finish line. I'm still on the journey. And the best part? He's still my biggest supporter. I'm 45 years old now, and every time I travel, he still checks my flight status. He still makes sure the plane takes off, still makes sure it lands, still waits for the message saying I've arrived safely. He watches every video, likes every upload, sends me messages after every trip. He's still cheering me on, even now. And every trip, every airport, every country, there's usually a message waiting, just checking that I've landed safely. Apparently you're never too old for that. So Dad, happy Father's Day, and thank you for believing in me before I believed in myself, for giving me the courage to start, and for one piece of advice that changed everything. Stop talking about it and do it. And to everyone watching, your story doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to begin.